Okay, so you're an investor, you're out there, you're looking at houses, you're talking to sellers. You ever find a house maybe that is worth 300? You find out the seller owes 350 and you want to buy it, but you're scared to buy it because maybe that's a little bit overfinanced, or maybe the house has a little bit of equity apparently, but it needs a ton of work and things just won't work out. What do you do with a house like that? Well, guys, believe it or not, the answer is probably a short sale. Now, if you're like me, you thought short sales ended years ago in a crazy COVID market, but the fact is there's still a lot of situations where a short sale is appropriate. And short sales are what we're going to be talking about today on the Sub2Deals Show. Hey, Sub2ers, I'd like to welcome you to this episode of the Sub2Deals Show, where we talk about all things subject to. Now, occasionally, you guys have been around for a while, we will talk about other topics, creative real estate topics that are of interest to you and can help you with your business. My name's William Tingle. I am of Sub2Deals.com. Where you can find all kind of products and coaching to help you with your business. Today's sponsor for the Sub2Deals Show is Big Insurance. Go see Jason and Corey if you have any insurance needs, whether you're a rehabber, whether you hold rental properties, whether you do creative finance and subject to. Jason and Corey at Big Insurance can help you with all of that stuff. Today's topic is short sales, and you guys have been around me for a while. I would rather straddle and slide down a razor blade than do a short sale. But fortunately, there are other people out there that like to do them, and we're going to talk to them today. Actually, we've got one of the best actually in the country, the #1 rated short sale company in the United States, and it's run by the short sale queen, Nicole Espinosa. So Nicole, we've got you here with us. Tell us about yourself, your business, and what you guys do.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. Can you see me?
I can't. I don't know what's happened to your camera. There you are.
There you go. Sorry about that.
All right.
Okay. All right. Let's start over.
No problem. No problem at all. So, Nicole, tell us about your company. So you're the #1 rated short sale company in the United States. I know you guys do a ton of them. We've talked before. But tell us about yourself and your company and what you guys do.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you so much for having me on your show. And as far as our company, we are nationwide. So we definitely do this at a high volume. We process over 100 short sales a month. So this is over 100 sellers across the country that we work with every single month. We are currently in 14 states and continually expanding, especially with everything that's been happening with, post-pandemic and the amount of people that are coming out of forbearance and into foreclosure. Our phones have been ringing off the hook, especially lately. So what we do is we work really closely with real estate investors that are doing direct marketing to sellers. So they are coming across these no equity deals and then partnering with our company to help facilitate the short sale. We represent the homeowners and we help get their foreclosures stopped, and we help negotiate and settle their debt. And it's a win-win for the investor because now they have another opportunity to now buy that property at a discount instead of walking away because it was a no equity deal. Right. So that's essentially what we do.
Okay. So, and I know from talking to you previously, you've been doing short sales, you said since 2011, and you've got someone there in your office that handles a lot of your operation that's been doing them since 2010. So you guys have a tremendous amount of experience in your group there in doing short sales.
Yeah, so I've been in the industry since 2009,
Mhm.
working with REOs, which were foreclosures, and working with asset managers, and then
Right.
specifically started doing short sales in 2011. Stephanie, I have a team of 11 people, and
Mhm.
Stephanie is my operations manager. So she is the one that is working, overseeing the negotiators and kind of making sure our day-to-day operations is running smoothly according to our process that we've put in place.
Right.
And then of course I have other people that are helping, move it along, work with the clients, work with our referral partners, things like that.
Great. Talking to most investors and gosh, homeowners, you would not think in our current market there would be anything a bank would consider for a short sale. I mean,
Yeah.
because everybody you speak to, oh no, houses are
Oh
going
yeah.
up every day
Yep.
and things like that. But obviously that's not the case. You guys process over 100 a month. So
Yeah.
what's a typical situation? And I know there are so many varied situations, but if you had to say this is going to be a typical situation we see for a short sale today in this crazy market, what would you say it is?
Yeah. So it's funny that you say that about, wow, I can't believe that you're still in business. Because I remember in 2014 when the broker that I had at the time said the same thing. Like, I can't believe that you're still doing short sales, because
Mhm.
it seems that, of course, when everybody talks about it, that's when people think it's relevant, but there will
Mhm.
always be short sales in any market,
Right.
even in the best markets, because people will always have a financial hardship. And so
Mhm.
what that looks like is a borrower or a seller that is behind, that can't afford their mortgage. So it can be
Mhm.
any type of financial hardship that puts them in that situation.
Mhm.
And what a lot of people don't understand is that when somebody is behind on their mortgage, their interest and late fees and foreclosure fees and all of that, it starts increasing the balance
Mhm.
significantly.
Right.
And what happens is you have the balance going up and the property value going down because they're not maintaining it, or
Mhm.
because whatever life happens, right, they're not upgrading it, all of that. You have the combination of those two, which puts them in an upside down situation. Now of
Mhm.
course, like you said, there's a million different things that can happen,
Right.
but typically what we see is a loss of income.
Mhm.
The most popular hardships, or the most prevalent ones, are loss of income, where they lost their job, or maybe they got reduced income, or a divorce is another really big hardship that we see a lot, because now
Mhm.
they qualified with two incomes with one expenses, and now they have the same income, but now they've doubled their expenses, so they can't afford to sell it. So people in this situation, I mean, now, especially as we're recording this, we're post COVID. So we
Mhm.
have people that their company shut down, that they are not able to catch up, or they just haven't been paying for a really long time because they were trying to get assistance from their lender. And now they're in a situation where they have to pay a lump sum, or, have to sell. So,
Mhm. Right. I know, we focus on creative finance techniques, subject to things like that. And it's so common now to hear an investor come in and say, well, I found this deal, but we need $40,000 to bring it
yeah.
current.
Yep.
And I know for a long time, the lenders were very open to doing workouts with that situation as far as putting it on the back end or
Hmm.
some kind of payment plan. Are you seeing that start to stop a little bit now? And they want all of their money up front. I know Wells Fargo seems to be a major listen, pay us or get out. They don't seem very open to working with people now.
Yeah, Wells Fargo is definitely a very unique breed. I think
Mhm.
every year we have a new bank kind of on our shit list of like that we don't like.
That's
like,
right.
honestly. So it just depends on where we're at with our business, that we're like, like at one point it was Aquin, and then we
Uh-huh.
loved them again because we were able
Right.
to get contacts. But Wells Fargo, I think in context, they've had so much fraud, and they've
Mhm.
been hit on every level, like with
Right.
personal banking, mortgage, everything. So it's no different in the loss mitigation of how much of a shit show it is.
Mhm.
But yes, so lenders are, especially with the CARES Act, they're actually requiring lenders to do workout options.
Mhm.
So workout options could be a loan modification, but remember the homeowner has to qualify for a loan mod. So the
Right.
only way that they would be eligible to do some type of workout option is if they can prove that they can afford the house and that their hardship is a temporary hardship.
Right.
Really, when it comes to sub-2, if that is an option, generally a short sale doesn't make sense. So if there's a way that you can structure a sub-2, generally it's little or no equity, but the numbers still work. You're able to still make it a deal. And at that point, it's not really a short sale. A short sale is where the property there's no spread there because they owe way too much. And if you were, able to purchase it at a price that made sense, the homeowner would have to come to closing with money. Right. And in this situation, the homeowner doesn't have the funds. So that's why a short sale really is the last option when it comes to a homeowner before foreclosure. And that's where we can settle their debt and negotiate for them to be able to walk away free and clear, which is huge. I mean, I don't know any other program where a homeowner can get represented for free and then, be able to walk away from that debt.
Right. Well, for people that are newer or that aren't familiar or haven't been around since 2007, 2008, when short sale was the word of the day, what is a short sale? If you had to describe it to somebody who's totally new, what is a short sale?
A short sale is where a homeowner has a financial hardship, where they are struggling, they can't afford to sell the home, and they owe more than the house is worth. So what it looks like is the homeowner lost, like, for example, they lost their job, they're now behind on payments, and they are wanting to sell the property, but now they see that because they owe, let's say, $150,000, the house is only worth $100,000. There's no options that they have. They either pay that $50,000 or they get foreclosed on because they can't continue to keep paying the mortgage because they don't have the funds. Right. So in those situations, we represent the homeowner as their agent and we negotiate on their behalf so that we can get that debt settled. And that includes everything. I mean, that includes the mortgages, that includes any liens or judgments on title, because sometimes what puts a homeowner underwater as well is the fact that they're past due on their HOA and then their taxes and all of that. And so it can definitely, it's like a snowball effect. Once they're 1 or 2 months behind, a lot of times they can't catch up.
Right. So now that was interesting. That's something that I hadn't even considered with a short sale. That takes care of all liens and judgments. Does that include federal tax liens as well?
Absolutely. So anything government can't be negotiated. So that's right off the bat. When you have property taxes and federal liens, all of that has to be paid in full, but they take priority to the mortgage. So the lenders will pay it, and it's actually a lot easier to get the lender to pay those because at the end of the day, for example, if they didn't pay their taxes, then the county could foreclose. And now they'll take a lien, that's superior to that first mortgage, which, you always want to stay in first lien position for obvious reasons. So that is something that does get negotiated as far as covered as part of the process that comes out of the bank's proceeds.
Right. So if I run into a seller, and this happens more often than you think, believe it or not, guys, you run into a seller that's got a $50,000 IRS lien. If they do a short sale, that doesn't move with them after the fact. It actually gets satisfied there.
So hold on one second, really quick. So with the IRS lien, though, I'm going to correct you because that's 100% right. So you definitely misunderstood because the other like taxes and all estate, all of that does get paid and settled. But the IRS is a personal. Is personal taxes. So those we get discharged. So there we can structure a payment plan. We can structure it to get released so that we can still sell the property, but they do have to pay their personal taxes. So that's the only exception. That's the only exception.
I thought, man, we're on to something here now because if we can include that, we've got a whole.
Could you imagine if the bank paid everybody's taxes?
Yeah. Okay, I got you. All right. I was like, man, I'm on to something here now. If we can do that too, that would be great. Okay, so tell us, Nicole, then, how does a typical short sale process work from start to finish? I'm an investor and I stumble on somebody that owes too much or the house needs too much work or whatever the case, and I can't make a seller finance deal out of it. And I'm like, well, hey, I heard Nicole talking about if they owe too much, short sale might work. How would that process work for an investor if they came to you? to get that done?
Yeah. So essentially once you identify that it's a short sale because you see like, okay, the numbers don't make sense for me and the homeowner is behind, then you would call us, you would give us the basic information. You go to our website, the ssqueen.com or just give us a call and you would send us over the homeowner's details. And what we do is we pre-qualify the seller. So we make sure that if we take on something that we're going to close it. We have a 98% success rate as far as closings. Because of that, because we heavily pre-qualify. We make sure that if we're going to take this on, that, of course, time is money, right? Like we don't get paid until we close, and we want to make sure we can get this deal for you. So once you send it over, we'll pre-qualify the homeowner, get all the information that we need to get the paperwork together, because they're going to sign a whole short sale packet that's going to be customized based on their situation, lender, all of that. And then we'll circle back with the investor. Like, so in this example, we would circle back with you and get your offer on what you're willing to offer to purchase the property, and then get the homeowner to sign that. A lot of the investors that we work with, they already get it under contract. But if you don't, then we will get it under contract for you and negotiate your offer with the bank. Now, at the end of the day, the lender will have the final say, of course, on what they're willing to accept. But that, the goal is for you to purchase as many of these as possible. We have some wholesalers that don't really intend on purchasing, and we just pay them for the lead if it just turns out that they can't or don't want to. But either way, it's a way to have an entire pipeline of either revenue or properties that you would be walking away otherwise.
Right. So yeah, just another way to be able, the throwaway leads that you would have that you wouldn't be able to do anything with. So what you're saying is, even if I don't have lenders or don't have cash, like the wholesalers that you're talking about, I could bring a deal to you and you could just pay me for the lead, and then you just take it on and do it yourself.
Exactly. And again, this is something that we have a lot of people that will just start prospecting, for these deals. And the only thing you need to do is just, as far as just you're building rapport, you're talking to these people anyway, because you're trying to figure out the numbers. And instead of hanging up, you're going to say, hey, I'm going to refer you over to the short sale queen and see if she can help you from here.
All right. Okay. Well, that's great information there. Hey, guys, we're going to take a quick break and hear a word from our sponsor, Big Insurance, today. So you guys hang with us. We'll be back in just a minute. Birmingham Insurance Group is a full-service property and casualty insurance agency laser-focused on risk management solutions in the single-family residential space. Their master policy program is available in all 50 states and was designed by investors for investors. It provides tailored coverage and competitive premiums, specially for real estate investors, owners, and property managers. Give Jason or Corey a call today at 205-682-8856 or visit them at their website, bhaminsgroup.com. That's BHAMINSGROUP.com. Hey guys, welcome back. We're here with Nicole Espinosa, the short sale queen. She's talking to us about short sales and how to make money with these, how to add this to your tool belt. And when we left, Nicole, you were talking about how, this is just something you can throw in there. If you're out there, you're marketing for sellers, you run into somebody, the numbers don't work for what we typically do, which is creative stuff. So there are possibility, maybe, they can't qualify for a loan mod or whatever the case is. They might be a candidate for a short sale, which brought me to a question. Is a short sale typically just something you find in the marketplace, you stumble on it, or is there like a way you can target potential short sale type deals? Like, I know we typically look for distressed sellers that might be vacant properties with out-of-state owners or liens, things like that. But is there a way to target a potential short sale type deal to look for?
Yeah,
them?
absolutely. So you can target pre-foreclosures. You can target, what would appear as low or no equity. My best advice, though, is to not target short sales. And the reason why I say that is because there's no reason to build out a new marketing funnel when you can just go into the existing liens and cultivate the ones you already have.
Right.
And so 90% of the investors that I speak to are not even aware that they have an entire pipeline of deals in their pipeline from what they're already doing. So instead of creating a whole new pipeline to market for short sales, go into what you're already doing and make sure that the people that you have working for you. So if you're doing acquisitions or you have people that they're able to identify what that looks like instead of saying, hey, this isn't a deal. Because what that does is, the reality is if you're not able to do something, you should at least have a tool or a resource to be able to send something like this off, like to a company like us, or having somebody, that you can do it yourself or whatever. And the reason why is because you can get your costs per lead down. It's all about the ROI on the leads that you are already working on, because marketing is expensive.
Oh, yeah.
And I think everybody that has done any type of marketing can agree with that. And so you want to make sure that any ready and willing seller that you have a solution for, even if you're not able to tackle it yourself.
Right.
So this is just one of those things that you're like, hey, as long as you're able to identify what that looks like, then I'm almost positive that all of your listeners have access, if they're marketing at any level, to people that they could have already have referred over or, be able to purchase through a short sale.
Oh, for sure. This is very similar. It sounds like adding a tool to a creative financer's tool belt as it is for wholesalers to understand creative finance, because wholesalers market like crazy. They make 60 cents on the dollar offers, and there are a ton of people out there who would just give them a deed, but they don't know how to make those things work. So they learn creative financing, and creative financing investors should learn the short sale process as well. Now, I know that you offer some training for short sales. I know, you'll buy leads as well as process short sales and do them for investors, but you also offer training on that, don't you?
I absolutely do. So a couple of things, YouTube, we do free trainings every week. So if people want to head there, all you need to do is just look up the Short Sale Queen. And then you'll see our videos and our channel. But also on our website, we do like live boot camps. So we have like a 4-week boot camp. Specifically, we have one coming up January 6th of 2022. And we walk through the entire process from start to finish. We also teach you how to negotiate, how to clear title, how to stop foreclosures. Like we really it's like a condensed version of our 3-month mentorship in 4 weeks. So we give so much away just in those 4 weeks. And then we have a 3-month mentorship that we do for people that are wanting to build out the business. We essentially open up our business model to them, like, hey, this is what we're already doing. So you don't need to reinvent the wheel, right? Like any good mentorship program, like it's a proven concept of what we're doing every day. And instead of you trying to figure it out, let me streamline you so that you can, just jump right in.
For sure. I'll tell you, for me, and just my limited experience with short sales. Now, Jody, my wife, she's done several, but and it's really funny. That's what every time somebody brings up short sales in my Facebook group, I say what I said when we opened: I'd rather straddle and slide down a razor blade than try to do one. So it makes a lot more sense to me for somebody just to bring something like that to you. Tell me this, and I know in the past they were known for dragging on for months and months and months. Is that still the same, or is the short sale length of the process changed at all?
So honestly, the number one question I get asked is, how long does it take, right? Like what you just asked. And that's such a hard question to answer because every short sale is different. Now, I will say that our average time frame is 2 to 3 months from start to finish. We've gotten them done as quick as 2 months, and sometimes it's taken up till 6 months if there's problems that we have to work through. Right? Like we had one seller that we had to do a wellness check on last week because her mom had passed away, and it was her house, and it was all this drama. So of course now it's adding on weeks, to the process. But I will say the industry standard is a year plus, which is why people have really negative experiences, because really the time frame has a lot to do with the person processing it. So if you don't know what the bank needs, you're just going to be going back and forth for literally months, because sometimes it takes weeks just to get the bank to even look at the file, right? To say, oh, by the way, you're still missing this, this, and this. And because we have a very fine-tuned process, we know what Wells Fargo is very, particular about. We know what Chase wants and needs to be able to move the process forward. So every deal is different, but our average time frame is 2 to 3 months from start to finish.
Right. So for someone who was interested in keeping a short sale type situation, whether they had lenders or they had cash, and that's the thing with short sales. Now you're going to have the money when the bank says, okay, we're ready to go. How much time frame do you usually have to close on one of these once the bank says, okay, we'll do it? This is what we'll take. How long do you have to organize your funds and do that?
Well, if you know from the beginning that this is something you want to purchase, then generally you'll have an idea, right? Because it'll be a couple months where you'll have an idea of like, hey, if this deal goes through, I'm going to have a private money, hard money, whatever. But once we get the actual approval letter, it's 30 days. So it's still, for us, we communicate from the very beginning, like, hey, this is what's going on. We're close to getting approval. Once the appraisal comes back and we know, hey, your offer is most likely going to get accepted, we give you plenty of time. So that way, when we get the approval, we can close. So you do have 30 days once we do get it approved, but we're communicating every step of the way so you know what's going on.
Okay. So that doesn't sound so bad. I've heard, and you hear all these stories about, okay, well, we drug on. The bank finally said, yes, we need the money in 7 days. Boom. So that's not the case, I'm guessing.
No, the only time I've ever seen anything like that is if there's a foreclosure date coming up and they're saying, hey, you've been working on this for months. We're willing to approve it, but you have to do it before the sale date because we don't want to keep postponing. But honestly, at that point, you've had this deal for how long? So really, that's why we have those conversations of like, look, get everything in order, which is plenty of time.
Okay, so now I have a question. I'm sure you hear this too. We hear it all the time about the market. What's going to happen? The market. So while none of us are fortune tellers, what do you see happening here? Now, we all know, everybody that's been around knows real estate is a cycle. I mean, it is. It's just nature. It's the way things work. And, you get sellers, and we call them all the time. Hey, your house for sale. We're interested in buying, blah, blah, blah. If they're not interested in anything creative, the first thing they give us is, oh, no, the market's hot. It's going to stay that way. We're going to sell the house. No problem. What do you see happening here the next X down the road, and we're short? So if you guys are doing 100 a month now, and we see a repeat of 2007, my goodness. I mean, and I know you're a smart business person. You forecast and you say, okay, this is where we're going to be in 12 months, 24 months. What do you see happening?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think a couple of things are going to happen. I think, it's going to trickle. As far as the pre-foreclosures it's already happening. I said, in the summer, I was telling people, I'm like, hey, when the foreclosure moratorium expires, that's when we're going to start seeing some movement, but it takes a while, right? Like even when the market crashed in 2007, 2008, we weren't at our highest foreclosures in the country until 2010 because it doesn't ever happen all at once, right? I think that's what people expect. I think people expect the market to just like either crash or, hey, it's fine. And it definitely doesn't work that way. A lot of things happen behind the scenes before it becomes relevant for people to have conversations about. And that's kind of what's happening now. Behind the scenes, the banks are overloaded with applications for assistance. You have the majority of the people that went into forbearance now at a crossroads of, do I work it out with my bank still and drag it on, or do I sell it, or what do I do? And that's where we're seeing a lot of homeowners that are calling us, and really coming to a hard decision of like, hey, what are my options at this point? So we have that first wave of foreclosures of people that are just giving up, walking away, or just done. And then we have this other wave that's going to happen in the next 2 years of people that are going to drag it out, right? Because they don't want to leave their home. Like these are people that anything the bank will offer them to buy them more time, they're going to do. And so the next couple of years, I truly believe we're going to see another wave of homeowners, which means that we're going to see more inventory. And now a lot of people have equity. Like a lot of people that coming out of this, they were in forbearance and their hardship was strictly not because of mismanaged money or any of that. It was, hey, my company shut down because I physically could not open the door, right? I couldn't open my doors because of COVID. And then you have people that, were laid off and all of that. And so in those situations, they do have equity, but we also have to remember that the more you're behind, the more your balance increases. So when you see more people that need to sell, regardless, you have more inventory, which means less demand, right?
Right.
So you have demands, but you have now inventory balancing out the market. So I believe in the next couple of years, we are going to see even more slowing down, even more of a balanced market. And when you have more, competition, that's where the prices start going down, right? Because people are trying to, keep up with the market. And someone that's in a short sale situation that's facing foreclosure, they're not going to have the luxury of waiting it out. They're going to have to sell quick and now to avoid foreclosure. So we're going to start to see a lot of things shift in the next couple of years because of the amount of people that are going to need to do something with their house.
Right. So you said you operate in 14 states. Are you guys plan on expanding any more and covering the country, or are you pretty much locked into those states?
So we're always like last week we started, we're in Kentucky now. So we just expanded in there. So that'll be number 15 as of this month. So we're always open to it, but it's always going to be based, I don't look at markets and say, hey, I really want to go to Florida. It's based on the demand. So when we start getting a lot of business there and we realize, okay, this is worth, getting boots on the ground and opening up shop, that's kind of where the decisions made. So of course, we're always open to opportunity, but we're really looking to fine tune, especially with the amount of business that's going to be coming, really fine tuning the markets that we're in of, hey, this is where the highest demand is. And that's also why we love training other realtors and investors, because we don't want to do every short sale, in the country.
Right.
I do not desire to grow that big in any capacity. I love my team. I love my girls, and we're good. We still have the capacity, to continue to get more business, but not on that level. So.
Right. I got you. So does the short sale process change that much from state to state, or is it mainly just a staffing issue?
So the only thing that changes from state to state is the local foreclosure laws, as well as the way that they, handle closings and title. Right. So, for example, you have a judicial and a non-judicial state. So Texas is non-judicial, where every, first Texas Tuesday, right? So first foreclosure Tuesday, where every Tuesday of the first of the month, they foreclose on the courthouse steps. But then you have New York or Florida, where it's a judicial state and the foreclosure can drag on forever because you have to actually go through a judge and a court. And so it's completely different. And with that said, that's going to change, on how we can help the homeowner and get these foreclosures stopped, because we have to be familiar. So we can't just go into a state and not understand what we're kind of working with the homeowner. The other thing is, you have a state like California where they have escrow and title that's completely different. So the fees are different. So the way we negotiate on what needs to be paid is different. So there's a lot that goes into the operation side of it to make sure, just like anyone else, if you're expanding to a new market, to understand how that market works. As far as the short sale piece, the negotiations are the same depending on what state it is. It's just the actual closing and the facilitating of the transaction. That's where it's different.
Do you find that lenders may be more motivated to do a short sale if they're in a judicial foreclosure state where it could drag on for months and months or years?
I believe so. I mean, I think that ultimately, it's really going to depend on that homeowner, what they've done, right? So for example, if a borrower is 10 years behind and they've been playing this game for a while, it doesn't matter if it's judicial or non-judicial, they're dragging it out by saying to the bank, hey, I want to do a loan modification. Hey, I might do a short sale. Hey, I did bankruptcy 3 times, And so their willingness to help that homeowner is not close to nothing compared to someone that's a year behind, 2 years behind even, where they still have some kind of grace of hey, this is worth postponing the foreclosure to give them a shot. And a lot of homeowners don't get that. They think that look what I'm getting away with, and they ruin their chances of being able to get help in the future because they're trying to play the game with the bank.
Right. Okay. So I'm an investor and I'm out here and I'm talking to someone. It doesn't look like this is going to be a deal that's going to work for Creative Finance. What should I do as far as a pre-screening before I bring a deal to you? I mean, should I check and see if the homeowner qualifies for a loan mod first? And what should be my steps before I bring something to you?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I mean, really making sure that they, making sure that you're letting them know, hey, this is our partner. This is someone that, is going to be able to walk you through the next steps and help you. Like, I still want to purchase the property, but I can't purchase it outright because of how much you owe. Really, it's really not the questions you ask. It's really how you present it, because you've already done the hard part in building rapport with this homeowner. They trust you. They want to work with you. They're open to talking to you. Now it's just a matter of like that pass off for them not to feel like I'm just another person that they're sending it to, right? It's someone that you trust, that you're working with, that can help this person, be able to do the short sale transaction. As far as like what to look for, you're really looking for, hey, if we were to put the house on the market, would we be able to sell it traditionally? Like, does this house qualify in the sense that it doesn't have any equity, because of, it could be repairs, it could be their balance, it could be a lot of different things.
Right.
And then, you're in that conversation, they're gonna easily tell you what their hardship is, and they have to have some type of financial hardship in order to qualify, because we have to show the bank that they can't afford the house.
Okay. All right. And going back to something that we talked about a little bit earlier about the advantages to a homeowner this way. I know some states allow a deficiency judgment if it goes to auction. Now, if they go the short sale route, the bank can't come back and get a deficiency judgment. Is that correct?
That's correct. So we negotiate in writing in the approval letter that they are waiving that deficiency. So they're saying in the letter, that they're agreeing to forgive that debt, and that way the homeowner can walk away free and clear of that debt. So it's going to be in writing, and there's never going to be a situation where they have to continue to pay something or that it's going to come back after them. That's one of the benefits of doing the short sale, is that everything associated with the property is going to be settled or cleared.
Okay. And so how does a short sale impact a seller's credit compared to a foreclosure?
Yeah, so the short sale and a foreclosure, so they both have the same component where there's missed payments, right? So that affects the credit with the short sale. But with the short sale, it's going to show on their credit as a paid settled debt. So that is going to improve their credit because it's going to show paid. The only thing that affects them is the missed payments. In a foreclosure, they're leaving themselves open to that liability. So not only is it going to be marked as a foreclosure on their credit, but they've left themselves open to getting pursued for a judgment. They're leaving themselves open, where they're not going to be able to purchase, or really do anything for a while, at least 7 to 10 years. With the short sale, once, of course, credits are a evolving factor, of course, but with the short sale, they can purchase a house 2 to 2.5 years after doing after closing. So that's huge. We tell a lot of our clients, hey, get in a 2-year lease. So once you move and we sell this house for you, get in a 2-year lease, and then you can start looking for a house again, and you can start over, so that you have the opportunity to now start building equity, which is the whole point of owning a home, right?
Right. And they don't have to answer that question on their loan applications either for the rest of their life. Have you ever had a foreclosure?
100%.
Yeah, that's right.
Because we know that in any situation, it's hard to come back from if it still shows up. Like, I mean, this could be a job. This could be, whatever you're kind of looking at, it's going to follow you around.
Right, for sure. Okay, great. Great information, Nicole. I appreciate that. Tell everybody again how to contact you if they're interested in either submitting a possible short sale or contacting you about your training.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can go to thegessqueen.com. So the ssqueen.com, and it's going to have all of our training there. And you can kind of see a little bit about the company, see the girls, see our team, all of that. And then the best way, and obviously you can contact us through the website. The best way to really kind of get to know me and my company and our team is YouTube. We have so much training there, and a lot of people, I always encourage them to go there first, because you can kind of see and learn, at no cost or anything. You can kind of just see like what we're about and kind of what we talk about, and see if this is something you're even interested in learning. And then we can discuss the boot camp and all these other things if this is something that you want to specialize in or really dive into.
Okay, great. Okay, Nicole, thanks so much for being here with us today. We really
Yeah,
appreciate you. All right. All right.
absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Thanks. Okay, guys, that is it for this episode of the Sub2Deals Show. We'd like to thank Nicole for joining us and telling us all about short sales and how they work. Guys, check out Jason and Corey with Big Insurance. If you do rehabs, if you're a rental property person, if you do creative finance, they can do all of it for you. And if you'd like to learn more about creative finance and Subject to, join us at Sub2 Max. Sub2 Max is our premium coaching program. It's affordable education in a mastermind format. You can find out more about that at sub2max.com. So until the next show, get out there, talk to some sellers, and buy some houses.